Oh, look, we have a guest.
Hi, guys.
Hi, David.
Yay! The chicken's dancing.
Yeah. Oh.
I have a happy chicken.
Hi, this is my message. Love.
Yeah.
I have Frida.
Yay! You have the black cat firework.
Because it was an act of defiance. Well, she's moved away now, thank you, Jesus. We had this crazy neighbor who called the police because we let our cats outside. And she was like, I'm a wildlife biologist and cats are decimating songbird populations. And she was just like,
Oh my God.
And this is someone we had been nice to her. She'd been living there for 2.5 years, and we took her food when she moved in, and baked goods, and we're always like, come have dinner, and she's such a cold fish. And the day she finally opens up, she just explodes at me. And it was.
Not
now
pretty.
we have an adorable gay couple across the street, and one of them, he's gonna make a cameo maybe. He's a baker. He owns the best bakery in Athens. So let me just.
We want to meet him. Okay, David Ferguson, ladies and gentlemen, here he is.
Here he is. Woo!
Hey guys.
So, he's a regular on Bob Cesca Show, and our regular viewers know Bob from our show. If they don't know him, just as a journalist and a podcaster. But and you're a musician. You have a band. Tell us about your band.
Yeah. The band is called Astral Summer. It came together in April or May. I was cut off from my regular band because of, there's someone in the band. We had a family member with cancer who's a cancer survivor. She's doing great. She's in remission, but her immune system is not up to par. And our drummer is a respiratory therapist in the hospital, so we can't practice for a while.
Yeah.
So I had one friend who was in my bubble who was kind of already one of the 5 people that we were freely associating with. And he's like, I can play. Well, I had this burning need to write a song, waiting for the world to end, because I had the melody and the words and everything.
It's a great song.
And I was I can't see my band. How am I going to do this? And he was like, I can play pretty much anything. And it's true. It's got strings, or you hit it with he can play it. So I sang him the song, and he was like, oh, that's easy. And we just banged it out and recorded it that weekend and mastered it, and then got it on the air a week or so after I'd written it.
That's awesome. I listened to a lot of your tracks on Bandcamp. It's called Astral Summer. Super cool. So cool.
Yeah, we don't really have a genre. We're kind of all over the place. I'm learning to write music on the computer, so I'm using loops and digital stuff. And then Dave is a multi-instrumentalist who can play just about anything. So he's my Dave Stewart. I'm his Eddie Lennon.
You have a fan. Someone said the song was awesome. Yay! Waiting for the world to end. That's so great.
It is. It's great.
I wrote that song. We were on the Bob Cesca show. It was Thursday, so it's Goth Ninja's Day. Me and Jody Hamilton, who you guys should have on.
Yeah, she's in my queue to.
We love Jody.
She wants to come on.
Yeah. We got cut off. The call got dropped, and then we logged back on. And I'm there with Jody. We're waiting for Bob, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Waiting for the world to end. What are you doing?" And it was just lyrics just started I was like, "Hang on."
Oh my God!
I just have inspiration.
Yeah.
I love it when that happens. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a fiction writer. I've just submitted a science fiction short story to Analog Magazine, and I'm kind of getting by right now as a phone psychic. Not real. I guess. I'm reading people's tarot cards. That's how Debriana and I met.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is fantastic. Oh, it's so coronakitchen. That's just.
I know everybody's doing what they can do.
It really is.
Yeah, it's funny. I am a very evidence and science based person. I like to see, and yet I am a textbook Gemini. If you read what it says Geminis are like, it's just there's David. And the tarot cards, I picked it up out of curiosity when I was in my 20s, and it kept working. I don't know why it works. I don't know why I have, I can see these narratives from the cards that are, and it shouldn't work. To me, but what are you gonna do?
I
I did them. I read them once in the summer of college for like this esoteric bookstore in Taos. Don't ask me. Don't ask. But anyway, I didn't know what I was doing. And then all of a sudden, after like 100 readings, I was just using a book, you know, it clicked in. And like, all of a sudden, minds were blown. And then it got kind of scary because I was like, whoa, this is powerful stuff. I don't know if I want to touch
I don't read for myself. I never do my own cards.
Yeah.
Because I got really too far into it at one point, and I'd be like, turkey or roast beef for lunch? You know, and like,
Wow.
yeah.
That's how I was. Yeah, I did the I Ching.
The cards were just like,
asking everything. Should I have coffee today or tea?
Yeah. The cards were like,
having an oracle. It's like having an oracle, you know, at your fingertips.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing it for myself, and I know I only do it for other people. And until recently, I would never do it for money. But I very modestly did. She said people don't follow advice they don't pay for.
Oh, interesting.
She's like, you have a gift, and it's worthy, and people should be ready to give you money because you can see things other people can't see.
If there's one thing I know from the pandemic, it's psychotherapists, tarot card readers, astrologers, and psychics have been doing really well financially.
It got me through this whole thing. I can tell you what. I was looking them up online going, how is it going to be tomorrow?
You know, I'm gonna just announce this. I'll do it tomorrow probably. I'm gonna make a Facebook page called T-Rex's Tarot Lounge.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
awesome. So
let's talk about food.
Yeah, but you didn't ask the tarot whether you should make banana pudding or silk pie or
I might have.
Well, tell us what you're making.
Well, okay, so I was going to make my grandmother's banana pudding, but it takes ripe bananas, and I went running out like day before yesterday, and all the bananas were super green, and green banana pudding is gross. And so I saw yesterday that Nigella Lawson posted her recipe for a bitter orange tart in honor of our former president.
Okay. I love her.
I decided we're going to do that recipe, and then we're going to take it a step further and combine it with another recipe that I did a couple weeks ago. You know, I always tell people, like, with baking, I'm like, don't freestyle. Do not improvise with baking. Never, and I'm about to do exactly that. So we may be flying into a hurricane here.
Okay.
Baking freestyle alert. Baking freestyle alert. Peggy, hold on to your hat.
Well, I mean, you know, like baking, there's like science, there's chemical reactions that need to happen. And so, like, you know, fuck around.
That's what we always say. Science matters.
So,
it is.
Anyway, so we're going to start by making, I started this morning by making the crust, which is a gingersnap crust.
Oh, yum.
Take 9 ounces of ginger snaps and 5 tablespoons of room temperature butter and put them in the food processor and just keep pulsing until it looks like wet soil. And then you pat that into the bottom of a tart dish. And I was still going to make the original very shallow tart, but I used a deep tart dish anyway. This may be harder to cut, the thing that we're going to do, but it's going to be really exciting, I think. So first we're going to make Nigella Lawson's bitter orange curd. So I got that.
Okay. If people came for banana pudding, I'm sorry. You heard the reason. The bananas were green. He didn't want to let you down, okay?
I can give you that recipe while we do this one.
Okay.
If you really want.
What are you putting in that pan, though? Tell me what's going in that pot.
Okay. This is 3 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks.
Okay.
And
are they
sugar? Half cup sugar.
Okay.
So I was not able to find any actual bitter Seville oranges, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the recipe from Nigella Lawson explained that you can combine regular orange juice and lime juice to get that same sour orange flavor. So this is half a cup of orange juice and 1 tablespoon, and then a 1/4 cup of lime juice.
Okay.
So that's going in.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I never knew you could do that.
Nigella.
Yeah, she's like, dude.
Every year I make her recipe for an orange cake. I make it on New Year's Day. And you boil clementines for 2 hours, and then they're totally soft, and you put them in the Cuisinart, and that's the batter for your cake. It is so good. Yeah, and it's gluten-free. It's almond flour, oranges, and sugar and eggs, and that's it. That's so good.
Okay, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of orange zest.
Okay.
So clearly she likes oranges.
Yeah.
She knows her way around an orange.
And this is 1 1/4 stick of butter cut into cubes.
Okay.
So we're gonna put this over the heat and
how high is that heat, my friend? Is it like a medium?
I've actually got it at high right now, just until I bring the ingredients up to like a sort of more consistent temperature, because butter's a little colder than the eggs.
Okay.
And then I'm going to drop it down to about a medium. You don't want to scorch it. She recommends taking it off the heat as you're doing it. Like stir, take it off the heat. Stir, take it off the heat.
Okay.
You don't want to make scrambled eggs.
Yes.
Right.
Which we've discussed many times, making a custard. Yeah.
The custard pressure.
Yeah. Don't make
Seville oranges are a cross between, I did some research, a
Okay.
pomelo and mandarin. They have a bumpy peel, and they're used a lot in candies and jams and things because the seeds have a lot of pectin, which is the thickening agent that they use in candy.
Okay.
Huh.
I think it's really important as Americans to expand our knowledge of all the different fruits and vegetables. Like, you're talking about pomelos and different orange, strains and all that stuff. I mean, you got to speak these things out. And that when we can go back to the farmer's market, that's really fun to do.
Yeah. So what are you looking for there?
We're going to thicken it.
Okay.
So it's heating up. It's very smooth right now.
And are you using a whisk or just a regular spoon?
Good old wire whisk.
Okay.
I used a spoon initially, just as the butter was starting to melt. And then now that the butter's melted and I won't be splattering, I use the whisk.
Okay. Yeah. I love the flavor combination of the orange and the ginger.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm very excited about it. You're making me think about Nigella and my several phone calls to her back in the days of the Tile Network when we had the Nigella Lawson show, and I had to coordinate because about 20 years ago I had to coordinate her on several occasions. She was very nice.
Yeah, she seems like she is.
Very, very kind.
Well, good. Now we're making her kind pie. Yay. Because we've now entered the age of kindness.
Yes. Ushering in kindness.
Mm-hmm.
It's been such a nightmare. I mean, never in American history that I know of have we had such a politics of contempt and rage at the top. Mm-hmm.
In every level of government, everywhere you looked. It was just defensive and angry. And it's interesting that Biden would actually bring that up in his speech yesterday of just like, stop the screaming. Bring it down a notch. Take it down.
And Rand Paul is all like, I was offended by all of this racism and white supremacy accusations. And I'm like, Malcolm X said, it dog hollers.
Yeah.
Rand Paul. I can't stand Rand Paul. We're bubbling now. Got hot faster than I expected. This pot usually takes a while because the base is narrow, but it's easy for me to use as a pot for double boiling, or we're going to use it for an ice bath for this.
Okay.
We want to get into
Yes, we discussed my covetedness for Lisa's Bain Marie. As everyone already knows who's watching this show on a regular basis.
Messages of my cooking show producing from years ago. We used to get all this amazing stuff. But yeah, something to dream for. The all copper everything.
Yeah, I think I inherited this pot from my roommate who was from Long Island in like 1992. I've had a long ass time.
Isn't it amazing what you inherit sometimes and what you still hang on to with
it sort of follows you around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about the stuff that Lisa's lost.
No, we talked
Shit
about
fire.
that. We talked about it. No, well, I just, I went through a divorce and with the person who cooked, so they felt the need to keep it all. It's okay. I let it go. I got my own stuff. I got my own stuff now.
Your own stuff.
This is starting to smell really yummy, like lemon curd, like breakfast.
I so love lemon curd.
That's the best.
I think I might have stayed with my ex 2 years longer because of his stereo. I mean, no, the speakers were literally like this tall.
You know,
A huge fight, and he would storm out, and I'd put on some music and be like, "Damn, that sounds good." You know,
like I can't leave just yet.
I have to listen to all the Tori Amos albums. Yeah.
I saw Tori Amos at Red Rocks. It was amazing.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I feel bad. I went to Tori Amos the last time I saw her, and it was like 4 or 5 weeks after my mom had passed away, and it was like the first time I went out and like had fun again. And like, I'm a bad hummer. Like, like I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like tracking the notes, and she's doing these letter perfect performances that night of every single song, and I'm just like following the black voice, and I'm leaned into my husband and kind of humming or singing to him. And we get to the encore, and she comes out and does Precious Things. And that's a big audience sing along. And so everybody starts singing. And so then I was like, well, let's let it rip. Because I got a big ass voice, like it's like an air raid siren. And this woman, like one over and in front of me, whips around and says, will you shut the fuck up for one goddamn minute?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, horrified for a moment that I had pretty much wrecked the whole concert for her. But the other thing was that like the time to say something was the second song.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Turn around and say,
The encore a bit late, lady.
You know, I've said that to people nicely. I think you can say like, hi, I came to hear like
yeah, I paid $20 to hear Tori Amos.
No offense, but and
that would have been fine.
Yeah.
I would have probably been able to stop. I don't know. It's hard. Like I'm just like a tuning fork, I just match pitches. But instead of handling it gracefully, I was like, fuck you, C word, you would take it outside. And my husband's like, and the person that she was with,
there's the
like, I told you. Look. There's
the other side of the coin where, okay, you're going to a concert, people are going to sing and you need to just accept. It's not going to be what you want.
Show it.
It's not all about you. You know what I mean? Like you got to have some acceptance of that happening. So,
I'm from a rock background. People stand in the audience and scream, I mean, and it's kind of a sign that they love her.
Come on.
I know. And I think about the days of going to like punk concerts in the late 70s, early 80s. Days of myself. But and the anarchy within. Yeah, I mean,
I actually, a friend who I told that story, she's like, when I saw Tori Amos in like 1996 or something, somebody came out before the show and asked people to not talk or sing during the songs, and then at the end they could sing all they wanted, like so that people could hear. And I understand that, but they didn't do that at the show, so nobody put me on notice that I wasn't supposed to be singing, And
you didn't get the memo. It's okay.
It's a concert. Shh. Like who does that?
That lady was mean. Let's just call it. She was a meanie. You don't have to yell.
Where was the concert, David?
It was the Atlanta Civic Center. All the big concerts.
That's a big place, right?
Yeah, it's a huge place.
Yeah.
No, actually, it was like Nokia
Park. Would not have been the only one singing along. That's my point.
Exactly.
Probably not. And it was not loud. Although I do know, I mean, if you've listened to my music, I do have a very, it's a voice that carries. My brother talked about, we were opening for his band at a club in Atlanta, and he's like, we're in it was a 3-floor club, and the dressing rooms were all the way down at the bottom, and he's like down at the bottom while my band's on stage, getting ready for his band to go on stage. And he's like, all I can hear was kick drum and my brother. Like, he's like, it's just piercing concrete and steel, and yeah.
David, are you from Athens?
I am from a little town called Eden in North Carolina. I was born there. My parents are from there. But my dad was military. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. And then we ended up in Columbus, Georgia, where I spent my teen years. We went overseas a lot, though. People were like, why did you have a Southern accent? And it's like, well, when I was 8 and I went to England and I had a deep Southern accent, people treated me like I was a fucking idiot. So I could.
Oh, so that got cleaned up.
Yeah, I don't, and I just like, I think like I woke up at some point and was like a Valley boy. It was like this and like that. And oh my God, and like the Southern was just gone. But I was, surrounded by people who talked like extras from Hee Haw, and it was just, I didn't want to sound like them.
It is a weird thing, to have the accents of America, and people judge you depending on.
They're kind of going away now. Like regional accents are being like more and more young people are like me and my brother, where we just like we got the MTV accent, or the NPR accent, and that's what we copied. Because we're inundated with media. It's from such a young age now.
That's true.
And in a way, it's a shame, but in other ways, like, I mean, in the UK, people will totally class you and put you in a box by your accent.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the not the right kind of, if you sound too posh or you sound unposh or just whatever.
Well, it's like they categorize you. I remember, in France, God help you, like people thought I was from like the worst. I thought it was a great compliment when someone said, "Oh, are you from Marseille?" And I'm like, "Oh, yay!" It's for France. But then in the beginning, they're like, "Oh, are you from Montreal?" Like, if they tell you you're from Canada French, like that, you're like backwoods, like hell water,
Yeah, my mom was from Marseille, and she thought that French Canadian. No, it's Canadian.
No bueno. Yeah, you get rings there. I mean, it's so tough. But
yeah.
We're trying.
I know, at least we're making the attempt.
Right. It's not like most Americans are like, "Can I have the ranch dressing?"
So how's that going over there, David?
Yeah.
It is really boiling, but it's not breaking. It's thickening very slowly.
Okay.
I'm not going to follow my urge to dump some cornstarch into it and speed it along. Just going to keep stirring.
Resist.
It's a beautiful, pale, kind of golden color.
Well, I'm wondering if that's why she likes the Seville oranges for this. If they have more pectin in it, it probably thickens it up faster.
Mm-hmm. Probably. There's a lot of egg in here. It's going to thicken up here.
Oh, yeah. It'll work.
So
So my grandmother's banana pudding, the thickener is flour. You make the custard, you take, go ahead.
Will you tell us about your grandmother's pudding?
Yes. I was getting ready to take 5 egg yolks.
Okay.
2 1/3 cups of milk, a 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/3 of a cup of flour, and you can add a teaspoon of vanilla. I like to take 2 vanilla beans and cut them open and just drop them there in the milk and just stir them around. You scrape
Nothing smells like that either. Just, it's divine.
You scrape the seeds out and you put them in there, and then I just drop the pods in. And then, or if I don't drop them into the custard, I put the pods into the sugar bowl so that I can have vanilla sugar.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Sugar just soaks that flavor right up, and it makes any cappuccino, when you sprinkle it on the foam, it's just
So good.
Yeah, I also, as people who watch the show know, I also put it in my salt, and I use that salt.
Salt?
Yeah, and I use that salt for baking.
Oh. Huh? Do you use any special kind of salt, like kosher salt or flakes?
No, I usually use sea salt because I don't generally bake with kosher. But yeah, it's wonderful. Just every time you add that layer, it just adds a little more flavor.
Vanilla, real vanilla, is such a deep, rich, complicated flavor, and like the cheap, sanitized vanilla candy version that we all think of when we were 4, you know, it's like it's a truncated version of that flavor, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I made vanilla on the show. I make my vanilla once a year.
I will be using homemade vanilla from my neighbor tonight, actually.
Oh, nice. So good. I've made it with bourbon and vodka.
I think this is bourbon.
Yeah, I like bourbon with it. And I also have made it with vegetable glycerin, edible vegetable glycerin for people who don't want to have the alcohol.
So then what comes next in your banana pudding?
Okay, so that's the custard, and you make that in a double boiler.
Okay.
Until it thickens, and then you set it aside.
Okay.
And you take Nilla wafers and bananas. Take 4 sliced bananas and a box of Nilla wafers, and you just layer it. So it's like custard, cookies, bananas. Custard, cookies, bananas, custard. And then you take the egg whites that you didn't use, you know, for your custard, which had yolks, and you whip up a meringue, French meringue. So for like 5 egg whites, I would use a third cup of just regular sugar. And beat that till it's shiny, but not, you know, dry or stiff. And then you smooth that over the top of the meringue, of the pudding and the custard, you know, the custard and the cookies and everything. And then you brown that in the oven. Although I suppose you could use like a home acetylene torch if you really wanted to, but like I find at that time in the oven, something happens with the custard and the cookies that's just fabulous.
Yeah, the heat going all the way through it, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like all the flavors kind of. But the thing is, it's like, and this is something I have not been able to recapture yet, and I'm still wondering if I'm ever going to be able to, like, after it sits overnight, the vanilla flavor in the custard really blooms. It really like, and like, so, I mean, banana pudding is one of those rare desserts that's good cold or hot. This is starting to stick out. But leaving it overnight has really like, you know, I go back and have leftovers because it's like I'm kind of I suck at letting things sit. You know, I get it out of the oven, I'm like, yay, and we all have some. Then I go and have the leftovers the next day, and overnight that like vanilla flavor has really just like soaked into the. That's good.
I think that happens with banana too, and it's a really hard flavor to capture in a strong way. So I'm glad you didn't make it with the underripe bananas because they really have to be ripe, but they, you know, so you can get that strong, lovely flavor with the vanilla. But it
yeah, I was like, they're not going to know that they're not ripe, and I was like, but I still have to eat it. Like,
I know.
I'm not going to waste it.
Yeah, it's Corona. Nobody wastes nothing. Nobody wastes.
Except time.
Okay, so where's the crust? Did you put it in the fridge?
In the fridge.
Okay.
I pressed it into the bottom of the Tart dish and then laid parchment paper and some pie weights on top. Okay. You don't really need the pie weights, but since I have them, does anyone know what those are?
Oh, well, we do, but
I didn't know what they were until I was making the the French silk pie 2 weeks ago.
Okay, are they a new kitchen edition?
They are for me. Well, I borrowed them from the neighbor, actually. I'll show you in a second. I use beans, I use rice, I use anything that has weight like that you, if you need it. These are like glass aquarium beads.
Yeah. I have some.
I guess you do that. You can use marbles or something like that if you had them.
Mine are adobe terracotta.
Oh, that's nice.
We are in Santa Fe after all.
Absolutely.
Are you both in New Mexico?
Yes.
Yes. Well, in Santa Fe we are. We're in the mountains, so that's different than the southern part of the state, which is a lot warmer than here. but we're desperately in need of rain or snow. People, please do your rain.
Of New Mexico, I've heard Santa Fe is the head and Taos is the heart.
There you go.
So Athens is like Taos, Georgia, basically. Which is why we produced, I mean, we gave you the B-52s, REM, a bunch of other indie bands.
Oh, right, yeah. Yep. So this is something you should make while you're chatting with people.
Because there's a lot of whisking involved.
It's not super thick, but I really don't want to scorch it. And I have a feeling that once it cools,
it'll make it up. Mm-hmm.
Well,
so
bring it over. Let us see it.
Are you good? Let us see it.
Oh, it's kind of green all of a sudden. I think that's the lime.
I hope it's the lime. What are you doing with it?
I had an ice bath. So
okay. Oh, nice. Pretty. Right. Yeah, that looks beautiful.
It's got some little teeny tiny lumps in it that I think I'm just gonna keep stirring as it cools.
So you're putting it in an ice bath now?
Yeah, and the original recipe, when you're making Nigella Lawson's, she just says put it in the fridge for 20 minutes, pour it into the crust. No. Put it into the fridge for 30 minutes in a bowl, and then pour it to the crust and chill. Okay. But I don't want to wait around, so I'm just putting it in the ice bath.
Yep, that works.
We're going to start with the next step, which is whipping together. This is where we could stop there. We could cool this, pour it into the ginger crust, and have Nigella Lawson's bitter orange tart. Serve it with honey because it's not super sweet. I decided that we're going to go completely crazy and whip it with butter and sugar and some whipped cream that I beat into soft peaks and put in the fridge a little while ago and make it into this like creamy orange thing. So I gotta cream this butter and sugar together for 2 minutes.
Okay. So how much have you?
Got a little improv going on here. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never do that. I was like, if I ever go on a cooking show, I'm not going to go with a recipe I've never done. And I would never, so here I am, breaking all my rules.
Voila.
So that's 2 sticks of butter and 1 cup of sugar, and a 1/2 cup of sugar.
What are you going to call this, David?
I don't know. Bitter orange inauguration pie or something.
Yay! Happy pie
for the world to end pie.
No, how about the world has not ended pie?
Yes.
We're alive.
We're alive pie.
We're alive pie.
We're gonna make it.
We made it. We had a real press conference pie.
Oh my God. I mean, what were you feeling? What was your feeling yesterday? I cried almost the whole day.
All day long. It was so funny this morning. I was listening to Carl Frisch on Stephanie Miller's show this morning, and he said exactly what happened to us yesterday. We were like, okay, well, we'll watch the once he gets sworn in, we'll be good. And then, once he goes to the Arlington Cemetery, we'll be good. Oh, wait, and it was like all day long, we never left the living room. We couldn't stop watching the TV.
And all night with the
all night.
I know.
I took some breaks from it. That walk of Pennsylvania Avenue in the open in front of the White House, every time you would go over to say hi to somebody on the side, I was like, it was a roller coaster ride, but as soon as he and Jill, they got to the threshold of the White House, and she kind of leaned into him, and they hugged, and they crossed the threshold, and the door closed, and I was like, praise Jesus, they're safe in the White House,
I was remember when Obama got out of the car on that walk, and everyone was like, get back in the car!
I was just holding my breath until they got until it was like sworn in, got into the White House. Like, okay, if anything happens, it's done. You know what I mean? And it's just so nerve-wracking. But I'm so, as I'm sure millions are, so grateful there wasn't any violence.
Oh, it was so beautiful. The poet laureate Oh.
She's good at homemade vanilla.
Okay.
Vanilla, butter, and a sugar.
Amanda Gorman was the star of the show, honestly.
She rocked.
I knew she was going to be good. I listened to her interview on Morning Edition from Tuesday, and she was so smart. And she used a couple of of my favorite vocabulary words, just like in the course of her interview, like in casual conversation. And I was just like, because I mean, one of the things that was the most maddening and upsetting about Donald Trump for me was his tiny vocabulary and the gross way that he misused very important words like beautiful.
Yeah.
Like beautiful piece of chocolate cake, and I'm just like, wow, that's.
He only had like 30 words. That was it.
I can't wait to see that library.
Hopefully there won't be anything with his name on it. But
That's what we're hoping. So what are you doing, David? What are you doing with that KitchenAid over there?
All right, so I'm taking the custard's at room temperature now. That was quick. I'm gonna just gently spoon it into the mixing butter and sugar and vanilla until it's mixed together, and then we're gonna fold in the whipped cream. So,
oh wow, nice. So he's got an old KitchenAid, the all metal kind.
This is my mother's. It's 70s avocado green.
It's beautiful.
It's cool.
It's really beautiful.
It's way far away from you, really.
When she was
keep it that way.
She was really, really sick. My mom passed away in 2014. I didn't use it for a long time because I could see the last time she had used it was when she was in chemo and she went to make banana bread and she just ran out of steam halfway through the fast. And I remember that because I came and helped her get the lid in the oven and kind of clean stuff up, but there was still I looked at it still had dough on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Eventually, I pulled her because she wants me to use this,
Yeah. Well, she's with you right now making this thing you're making.
Whatever this thing is.
She was scolding me so bad for doing a recipe that I didn't test first, but
we've all done it.
Very, very pale yellow, almost like a. I don't know. It's really pretty. Let's have a look at it. I think we've given it enough. We can fold it enough.
I mean, what's happening, what you're experiencing right now is how some great desserts have been made, okay? You're going with your gut, and, you're feeling it, so you got to do it.
It's very creamy.
Okay, let's see it. Oh, gorgeous.
Ooh, that looks good.
That's beautiful.
Did you taste it?
I did taste it. It's delicious.
Okay.
But I mean, it's got lemon, it's got orange and butter and sugar and vanilla and how could it be bad? Oh yeah, it's got a long. You know how some things you taste and then they have a long flavor profile.
Yeah.
It's you get that first bit and then a little more and then a little more. That really you have to make natural stuff to get that because most of the processed foods are front loaded.
Yes,
okay, everybody, you're witnessing invention happening.
Here is a cup.
You're on coronakitchen.
Heavy cream, whipped to soft peaks, not sweet because there's plenty of sugar in here.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is going to be fabulous.
So I'm gently folding this in.
Okay. What's bad about?
We're going to pour it in the crust, and then it has to sit.
Cream.
It kind of reminds me of an orange mousse.
This pie, it's got a mousse-like thing going when it's chocolate, but it's smoother than mousse. It's like a truffle, but fluffier. But a mousse, but creamier. It's the chocolate silk pie is off the chain. It's just so good, but it takes a day and a half because you have to blind bake the crust and let that cool, and then you get all the ingredients together and let them cool, and then it's got to sit for 6 hours to chill, like this will too. We won't get to try it tonight, I'm afraid.
Well, send us a picture with the recipe.
Yeah. That I want because that looks delish.
Take a photo of the final product before you dive in.
I will. Yeah. Oh no, I've been trying to do that. I've had so many amazing meals that I didn't. Like I got halfway through it and was like, "No, I should have taken a picture of that."
Why didn't I get a picture?
I'm just a failure.
I want to see it for sure. So is that your pie crust?
Here's our ginger snap crust.
Okay, let's see it.
It is just ginger snaps and butter.
Okay.
But you want to let it sit
for a
while so the butter can really harden back up.
Yep.
Yes, I did it but now realizing that it's going to be a pie more, it's going to be too tall, and I don't think I'll be able to take it out of the tart with the fluted edges. So you could probably just do this in a regular pan.
Yeah.
It won't be.
That's a nice.
It's kind of a pistachio color.
That's pretty. My tart pan is not that deep.
Well, you probably.
This is from the across the street neighbor, the baker. He gave me two. He gave me a shallow square one, and this one. And when Nigella Lawson did this on Good Morning America, I told you I did some research. She used a deep pan, and so I went ahead and put it in the deep pan because she's like, it sort of gives you some, wiggle room.
Yeah.
Debrianna, I think you have a classic quiche pan. That's much.
Yeah, I do. All right, I'm going to scroll this across the bottom now while he's doing that and remind people. I think it's going. Is it going? No. They changed this and I can't make it work. Okay.
Oh my God, it's so good, y'all.
Yum.
I can't wait.
It's like a creamsicle, kind of.
I did. Oh yeah, that would be creamsicle-y.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Oh, beautiful.
For 6 hours, and then all that butter that's in there is going to harden back up, and it makes it into this very thick consistency. And I will whip another cup of whipped cream and spread it on the top.
Nice.
And then,
that's gonna be good. Okay,
I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Okay, so we need to tell everybody to not forget about the recipe contest because that ends on February 9th. So if you guys want to enter a recipe into the cookbook, you can enter a recipe for consideration for the cookbook that's coming out, yay, on Mother's Day. Don't forget to check out our GoFundMe, which we post every day because we need a little GoFundMe money to get that done.
Want to say a big thank you to the people who have donated. My God, we've made almost $7,000 in 2 days. It's crazy.
Yes, we are so grateful.
That's why I'm wearing the love sweater.
Hey, here's a question. Do you guys know how to make a cappuccino? Do you know how to steam milk?
Yeah, well, we have steamers.
Okay. I was going to get a class in how to make a cappuccino if you really wanted me to.
We have. Do you know about the steamer that you can get from Amazon? That's like a little container. Can you grab it from me?
It is scrolling.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, check it out.
It's super easy.
Huh? Yeah, this is.
It's amazing.
What do you have? You have a machine?
I have a vintage machine that I have a friend who restores them as a hobby.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
My regular machine to repair a couple of years ago, and she's like, it might be a minute. I've sent you something to tide you over. And I was like, what? And I get this box in the mail and open it. And actually
it was like your car was being serviced and they gave you
a loaner.
But it's like a 54 Falcon with tail fins, I mean, it's cherry red.
That's awesome.
So I got the other one back, and it's, but I like this one better, so this is the one I use.
That's awesome.
It's kind of like having a biplane or something. It's really but if you can work one cappuccino maker, you can work them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
we have
a friend who's never
We cheat with the container thing we get from that. I got one from Amazon for like $30, and we use it for everything. Like I make tea lattes in it.
Yeah, we had one. We had a stove, a countertop one that we from Nespresso.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I have one of those.
And I was like, actually, for a while, I was just using this.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah.
Really good espresso.
Yep.
And just mixing it with the Nespresso instant frother thing. But Christmas came, and we had the neighbors over because they're in our bubble, and I just needed to make cappuccinos for everybody. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to bust out the machine.
Take out the big guns.
Yeah.
I've tried many years as a barista, and I still I meet people sometimes, and I will take an instinctive dislike to them if I sense that they are like half calf, half decaf, sugar-free vanilla ice, like soy milk latte. It's just like 1 pump of vanilla. It's like, and then you meet people and you're like, you're just like a weird coffee. Go ahead.
You're a purist. I respect that. I'm the same way. I don't have any of that stuff. I just like the pure coffee with the best water, the best filters, the best type of coffee, and just use a classic method. And, and then if you want to do milk, I don't do milk. I do half and half. I do breves. I do,
Oh. Those are almost too rich for me because I drink a lot over the course of the day. And so if I do breves all day, by the afternoon I'm kind of like, this is the best.
I have one breve in the morning, but yeah, no, but the coffee part has to be the best coffee.
Oh, I love that coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could eat it straight from the can with a spoon. Yeah. I watch my neighbor's cat. It's $15 a can at the grocery store here. Probably way more in other places like New York. But I watched my neighbor's cat for one night, and he sent me from Amazon 4 of these.
Oh my gosh, he loves his cat.
I've never had a stockpile quite like
this.
Present. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, what else do you want to do? Wash your car?
Well, thank you so much. That was awesome. I cannot wait to see that pie.
Yeah, that's gonna be. It's gonna take some time to set up, but it's gonna be amazing. I think. I tasted it, and it was just like, ooh, it's really good.
Thanks for hanging out.
Seville oranges. They grow in Seville, Spain. They grow wild in Arizona. So right next door to you guys.
Wow.
In the Phoenix area, there's thousands of them, and every February, ConAgra or some big company gets a bunch of volunteers together, or maybe they're just hourly workers, and they find all the oranges that are ripe on all the bitter orange trees in the Phoenix area, and they use it to make some sports beverage. But they all they harvest all that. But most of the time they're just on the ground. But I found a recipe for something called Arizona bitter orange pie, and it involves Cool Whip. And that actually, to be completely honest with you, I will just come right out and it's confessing to my trailer trash roots. I was like, Cool Whip, whipped cream. That was when it dawned on me that I could do the French silk pie with orange instead of chocolate without the cream curdling.
Yeah.
And then I had to ask Scott, the baker across the street, because I was like, wait a minute, is there any milk in Cool Whip? Maybe that's why they're using Cool Whip. And he's like,
there's
no.
Nothing recognizable in Cool Whip as food.
But if you go to the health, the Whole Foods or whatever, there's vegan Cool Whip. It's coconut, and it's delicious.
Yeah, it is. Yes. That is delicious. I've made it before, actually. It's really good.
True confessions on Corona Kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah, I have one of my, the people in our bubble, our next door neighbor is a couple, Tucker and Sarah, and Tucker's vegan. So for the holiday meals and stuff, aside from the bird and the gravy, and I was doing everything vegan, which is to my Southern heart, I was like, God, no mac and cheese, but we did it. We had, pinto beans, sweet potatoes, and I get my pinto beans from the. Why can't I think of the name of it? Is it Gordito Ranch out in California? I'll look that up for you guys. They have it's heirloom beans and seeds and spices and herbs. Well, and they have the best hot chocolate, the Mexican hot chocolate you crumble up and then, oh God, it's like cinnamon and chili. It's a little spicy.
That's my favorite. I do that to my coffee every morning.
A lot of the chocolatiers around here serve that because we're in New Mexico. Hello, Chili Land.
We have chili here.
We put chili in everything.
But things got super stressful early in the pandemic. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was like, when I was pregnant and I couldn't take my antidepressants, my doctor told me, like, this is not a replacement for antidepressants, but if you just take a cup of hot milk, a tablespoon of cocoa, and a tablespoon of sugar, and mix them together and drink it down, it helps. Like, there are real, like, emotional lifts.
It's like cocoa. Soothing. Yes, like a hug.
And that was just like, whoa, let's jump. I was like, orange zest, cinnamon, chili. I was just like, what else can I put in here, She's like, I don't think when you're, like, showing off, David, that it's de-stressing. Like, I was like, how dare you? But,
well, thanks so much for having us. Yay! We were happy to have you,
David. It's great to have you. Thank you so much. And everybody go to his T-Rex report on Patreon. And
Mark and T-Rex's Tarot Lounge on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, the new T-Rex
right here. Discovery. And we will see his recipe for his orange creamsicle mousse pie soon.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not so bitter orange now. Maybe that's why it's inauguration pie.
That's
it's bitter orange.
Inauguration pie.
No, you know what you're doing? You're transforming orange. We're getting orange back. Orange.
Yes, we're reclaiming orange.
Reclaiming the orange. Yes.
I'm down. I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm glad it didn't curdle or anything because that would have been. That's what I was most afraid of.
You were like a pro the whole time. It was good.
We did it.
I did the banana pudding for a friend a couple of years ago, and she was just like, "You made that look way easier than I think it should be." I was like, "I've just done it enough times, and it's all down to like muscle memory,
Yeah, puddings and custards are not easy unless you have the practice. It's really experience.
And you did it! Woo!
Credits. Thank you guys.
Credits are
sorry.
I'm always like overstirring. Like, so custards are great. I'll just stand there.
Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Wear a mask. Everyone stay safe.